Jonathan, why don't you get us started?
Thank you, Jen. Just a few minutes ago in the Oval Office, the President spoke about the trial of Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin. He says, quote, "I'm praying the verdict is the right verdict." And he says, "I think it's, quote, overwhelming in my view." So I have a couple of questions on this, if we could start there. What precisely did the President mean? What is overwhelming? And does this mean the President thinks the police officer should be convicted on all counts?
Well, the President has clearly been watching the trial closely, as many Americans have been. He was also moved by, he was moved by his conversations with the family yesterday. He knows the family, and as somebody who has been impacted by grief himself, that was a large part of their conversation, the conversation he had just yesterday. As he also noted, the jury is sequestered, which is why he spoke to this, but I would expect that he will weigh in more further once there is a verdict, and I'm not going to provide additional analysis on what he meant.
You're not able to clarify what is overwhelming, the evidence, the case presented by the prosecution?
We're not going to get ahead of the outcome. I expect when there is a verdict, he will have more to say.
Okay, well, as you say, the President made note that he only spoke out today because the jury was sequestered. But of course, everyone else in Minneapolis and around the country could hear what he said. They'd be in a position to hear what he said today. We know there are worries about unrest. Is there now concern that the President's words could add to that if the, quote, right verdict is not reached?
Well, first I would say that regardless of the outcome, the President has consistently called for peace. And our focus as we are working with state and local authorities is on providing the space for peaceful protest. And that will be consistent regardless of what the outcome of this verdict is.
Okay, and then one more on this. The judge overseeing the case was pretty harsh language yesterday, sort of asked politicians to not weigh in on the matter. Is there concerns now that the President's comments could be grounds for an appeal or even causing a mistrial?
Well, I wouldn't. I think those were comments the judge made yesterday. Again, the jury is sequestered, which the President also noted in his comments. He certainly is not looking to influence, but he has been touched by the impact on the family. Hence, he called the family yesterday and had that discussion. And again, I expect he will weigh in further once there is a verdict.
Go ahead, Kristen. Thank you, Jen. Just to follow up, the President has talked about the importance of an independent judiciary. Why is it appropriate for him to weigh in on the verdict, even though the jury is secluded?
I don't think he would see it as weighing in on the verdict. He was conveying what many people are feeling across the country, which is compassion for the family. What a difficult time this is. What a difficult time this is for many Americans across the country who have been watching this trial very closely. The jury is sequestered. That is different from where things stood just yesterday, and he noted that in his comments as well.
He did call for the right verdict, though. Why is it ever appropriate to have any type of characterization before the jury has a say, especially for the President?
Again, we're going to wait for the jury to come to their conclusion, and that is when he will have more extensive remarks about the outcome.
This administration